In this video guide, we're going to see how we can create a normal map by using the sculpting tools to add some details. But essentially, we're going to see how we can create a normal map using a bake function here in Blender. So we're going to start with a simple base. We're going to create some decoration, and then we're going to bake them. And this is useful to use our export, a 3D model with the low poly version. So let's say that we are working on a video game or like some real-time application, and we cannot use too many polygons. So you can see this one here as a lot of polygons. So this is going to be a really heavy object in order to be used in video games or real-time application. This one here is low poly. But when we see here, this is without the normal effect, the fake 3D superficial effect. These are actual polygons. These are actual details sculpted on the model. And this one here is like when we compare the two. So you can see that from a distance there is a little difference, but when you get really close, this one here, of course, it's more detailed because this is a really high poly model and it has all these real 3D extrusions or 3D reliefs, bas reliefs on the surface. And this is just a fake representation of this. This is a simulation. And this is the normal map. But this is a way lighter object than this one. So this is why the normal maps or like bump map or displacement or fake displacement are used. So let's start from the beginning, and I want to show you where I got this model from so you can start with these and we will not lose time in creating like our model, or perhaps you already have a model. For those of you who don't have a model, I will show you where you can get this one here. It's from Polyhaven, and this is an excellent website that offers free and open source stuff that you can download and you can use. So you can also support this project. And this is the base right here. It's called Planter Pot Clay. And you can see here there is a preview, and you can see again the polygons and the effects that are not actually there as polygons, but they are there as a normal map. And you can see here also the various textures. And this one here is the normal map. Normal map is kind of a purplish map. And then you have also the others, but we're gonna mainly focus on this one here. And you can see here, you can choose the resolution. The file format, we're gonna use Blender, so we can open it directly in Blender without importing or using other process. Just click on download here. That's also the author right here. That's the public domain license, and everything, all the information are right here. So click here if you want, donate, and let's proceed. So once you download it, you're gonna extract the folder, and inside you will find a texture folder and a file, a 3D file. So you can double click on that and open it up, and it's gonna show you directly the base. So this is what you should see once you open up the file. And here we cannot see the normal map because this is the geometry visualization. So if we switch to the material preview, this is where we can see the material. One really important thing before we continue. Now, this is a model that has been created by an author. And if you created your own model, make sure that it has a UV mapping. Make sure it's unwrapped and everything is not non-overlapping. Otherwise, things could go wrong with baking and painting or anything you need to do with texture and material in Blender. Now, we cannot actually see too much of the normal map because it's kind of embedded in there. So let's switch to the shading panel here. And to see a little bit better what we're gonna do, let's like focus on what's happening in here. So we have the base color, and right now I just want to get rid of this. And okay, so now we have a combination of the normal map and the roughness. Now let's also take off the roughness, which is deciding where the material is more glossy and less glossy. So I'm gonna detach that. So we are now left with the last one, which is our normal map. So this is all the job that the normal map is doing, is creating this fake 3D effect. Now let's change also the base color to something more, less dark. So there you go, you can see it. Now this is the image right here that you can change, you can import, you can open. And this one here is the node that is making the normal map actually visible here. So I can also adjust the strength. So if I increase the strength, it's going to be more visible. So I can manage the map from here, the normal map from here. Now I'm going to create some space here because we're going to create our own. So I'm going to detach this one here. And you can see now it looks like a plain vase without any decoration, without any relief, without any superficial 3D. So how we can add superficial 3D? Let's go back to layout. And well, I need to do this with the sculpting. That's the kind of the fastest way. You can also paint normal maps in Blender, but I'm gonna go for sculpting because it's gonna be quicker. But before I need more polygons, I need to switch this from a low poly to a high poly. So to do this, I'm gonna use the modifier, and there are several ways we can increase the number of polygons here, but the best way, probably the fastest way, and the more versatile way is going to be the multi-resolution modifier. So here we just need to increase here the level viewport, the sculpt, and the render. So I'm just going to click on subdivide, 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 and subdivide. So I'm going to subdivide 4 times. So this is now going to have a lot of polygons we can work with. Otherwise, we cannot sculpt on this. So make sure you have a really high. We can also go to 5, which is going to be really, really heavy, but we can go into really, really fine details with this. So let's go into sculpting and let's start creating some effect, some 3D relief. So I can just use the draw. I'm just going to decrease the radius a little bit, and I'm going to increase the strength. Now, if you're interested in all this stuff, you can find it in our Blender video courses. So you can check the standard basic Blender video course, or you can check also the sculpting and painting video course, which is 3D character design. So you can see I'm just creating here some, random decoration, and probably you're gonna be better than me. Now, the more polygons we have, the more we can go with the fine details you can see here. So if I get closer, it's gonna get smaller and smaller, and these are all settings of the brushes. So you need to set up all of this stuff. Okay, now this is just an example. So I'm gonna just use this quick decoration that I've done. Okay, and there are also a lot of other tools here that you can use. So you can see you can create like carvings, not just reliefs. You can carve and so on. So everything, all of this stuff is gonna go in the normal map. Okay, so when we're ready, we need to bake this. We need to bake this this actual 3D into a fake normal map 3D effect. So what I'm gonna do is just go back here to layout first. Okay, so this is our base. Now I'm gonna copy this just to show you. Control C, Control B. I want to show you the low poly version and the high poly version. So I'm gonna move it aside, and this is our high poly. So this one doesn't actually need a material. So if I go here and just take off the material with the minus, you can see that it's still working. It's just gonna create a new standard one. This one here, let's go here and just take off the multi-res. So it's gonna be like a low poly. So how can we transfer this level of detail in here without actually transferring the polygons? We need to bake. To do this, we're gonna move into the shading interface, and we need this one here to bake. So also we need to switch into render mode, and this is important. And we need to make sure we can also deactivate like the scene wall so we can see a little bit better, but we need to be here. And we also need cycles, not EV. So make sure you are on cycles, and you go all the way down, look for the bake section. So this is where you can select the thing you want to bake. So let's say we want to bake the normal map only. We don't need all this stuff right now. We are concentrating on the normal map. You can use multi-res if you want to bake from multi-res, which we used, but if you don't want to use multi-res also is fine. You can bake whatever it's on this surface to this other surface. And this one here, it's going to be tangent. And that's going to be fine for this, but we need an image texture to target our baking. So we need to create here a new image texture. So let's go to add and go to texture and create a new image texture. And this is one is really important. You need to create a new one. Let's call these baked normal, baked sculpting on normal. You can change the resolution. I typed here 2048. It's a little bit bigger, so it's gonna have more details. And then one important thing is you wanna make sure that this one here is on 32-bit float. And that should be fine. So now we can just bake. So click on bake. And we just need to wait now that these details will be baked on the new normal map. This one here is the old normal map. So this one here should change shortly in the new one. And there it is. You can see it now. It has changed. Now you can copy and paste this. You can also save it. You can go to image and save as. So I'm gonna save it right here. So if I lost it at some point, I can retrieve it if I lose it. So I'm gonna call this baked sculpting on normal 2 because I already done this experiment. So I'm gonna save it. There you go. And I can also Control C, copy this in here because I need it in here to create the effect. So Control V. Okay, now I also need this one, which is an extra node. So to find that, I'm gonna go to add and search for normal map. Place it right here. Then this image goes here in the color, and then it's gonna exit from normal to normal. And there you go. Now we have the effect. So now we just need to change the strength if you want more strength. And you can see this is a fake effect, fake 3D effect. This one here is the real 3D. Now if I go a little bit further, let me just change the base color also, so it's similar. So if we go, far away, you cannot really tell the difference between the one and the other. If you get closer, it's going to be more visible. Still, it's going to, look great. So this one here is going to be really heavy with a lot of polygons. This one here is low poly, but the effect, it's kind of similar. It depends also on the lighting that you use. Now, right now I'm using the HDR high here in Blender. So I'm just going to rotate this in another position so that I have like the lights coming from the front. So you can see, yeah, you can tell the difference, of course, but they're pretty similar. And let me just switch to the Ivy render, which is kind of a real-time render. So here the difference is not too much. And also to enhance this effect, you may want to add some light. So if you go here to light, and this is only the geometry you can see. Now if I also apply here the multi-res, you can see the difference in the number of polygons. And here you can see the difference, and that's the two should look pretty similar in this visualization with the real-time render with Eevee. And if we add some scene lights here, let's add like a simple point light. So if I move it here, and you can see that it's working with both. So it's going to be better when you use lights than when you only use HDRI. So this will be all for this video guide. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated. If you want to support us, please join the channel as a supporter. And this will be all for this guide. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next.